This time today, well, not this time today, from one of my new series of videos on YouTube is going to be reading. So, it's like short chapter books. So I'm going to read Twister on Tuesday by Magic Treehouse by Mary Pope Eisman. This is book number 23. So let's start at chapter 1, where we're supposed to start on every single book. And I've never read this book before, so I'm excited. This is just a prologue. I'm not going to read that because it's so long. Jack opened his eyes. Sunlight streamed through the window. Tuesday, he whispered. Morgan's aunt had told him and Annie to come back to the Magic Treehouse on Tuesday. He could hardly wait to find out where she was sending them today. Jack scrambled out of bed. He threw on his clothes. He packed his notebook and pencil into his backpack. Then he headed into the hall. Jack bumped Annie. She was dressed in jean shirts and a t-shirt. Tuesday, they both whispered. Mom and Dad were going out for a few minutes, Jack shouted. Don't you want breakfast first? His dad called from the kitchen. When we get back, said Annie. They rushed out the front door. They ran down the street in bright summer sunlight. A warm wind gently shook the trees as Jack and Annie headed into Frog Creek Woods. Soon they came across the tallest tree in the woods, the Magic Treehouse. The Magic Treehouse. The Magic Treehouse waited for them in the high branches. Jack and Annie grabbed the rope ladder and climbed up. Inside the shady treehouse, the note from Morgan was still on the floor. Dear Jack and Annie, Camelot is in trouble. To save the kingdom, please find these 4 special kinds of writing for my library. Something to follow, something to send, something to learn, something to lend. Thank you, Morgan. Okay, said Jack. We had the first writing, something to follow. He picked up the list from the Civil War. And we have the second, said Annie, something to send. We picked up a letter from the Revolutionary War. Now we need the third, said Jack, something to learn. No problem, said Annie. She grabbed a book lying in the corner. I hope we're not going to another war. Jack and Annie looked at the cover. It showed a field of tall green grass. The title was Life on the Prairie. The prairie, said Annie. We've already been to the prairie. The time when we met Black Hawk, said Jack. Yeah, said Jack, remembering their adventure with the Native American boy. He opened his book, turned to a picture of the old-fashioned train crossing the prairie. Oh, he said, I get it. Trains crossed the prairie after the pioneers came. When we went to the prairie before, Native Americans were the only people who lived there. So we must went in the pioneer time, said Annie. I think so, Jack, said Jack. He pointed at the picture that showed the train crossing the prairie. I wish we could go there, he said. The breeze picked up. The wind started to blow. The treehouse went faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 2, Signs of Life. Jack opened his eyes. He was wearing pants with suspenders and a shirt with the sleeves rolled up. In place of his backpack was a leather bag. Annie was wearing a long dress and a sun bonnet. I think I like my hat, she said. It'll keep the sun off my face. Yeah, except the sun's not shining, said Jack. He and Annie looked out the window. The sky was cloudy. The treehouse had landed into a small grove of trees near the creek. Beyond the trees was this wide open prairie. Green grass and wildflowers stayed sawed in the chilly wind. In the distance, a train puffed across the prairie. Sparks of fire came out of the smokestack. Huge clouds of black smoke billowed into the gray sky. Wow, said Jack. He looked at the picture of the train in their book and read. After the Civil War, the U.S. government built railroads to link the eastern and western parts of the country. But the 1870s, steam engines carried people across the Kansas prairie. Jack pulled out his notebook and wrote, 1870s trains across Kansas. Let's get going, said Annie. We have to find that special writing for Morgan. So she started down the ladder. Jack packed his things in his leather bag and climbed down after her. When he stepped onto the ground, Jack looked toward the west. The train was gone. Only a thin trail of smoke floated across. The train was cool, said Jack. Yeah, and so is that, said Annie. She pointed in the other direction. Far away in the distance, a line of covered wagons rolled through the rippling grass, their white coverings below the breeze. Jack pulled out the research book. He found a picture of the wagon train. He read aloud. By the way, this is the picture. what it looks like. So y'all don't. That's Jack and Annie right there. Oh my God, the famous. Wagons were the most common way for families to travel west. They could carry clothes, tools, food, and water in lines of wagons called wagon train. The white cloth coverings over the wagons also made them look like sailing ships or schooners. For this reason, covered wagons were sometimes called prairie schooners. Jack looked at the wagons. They did look like ships crossing the rippling green sea. He wrote in his notebook, "Covered wagons, prairie schooners." "Let's get closer a look," said Annie. She took off across the grass. Jack pulled away his things and ran after her. As they ran, the wind started to blow. It blew harder and harder and harder. The clouds overhead grew darker. "Wait, wait!" Jack finally called Annie. "We'll never catch up to it." They both stopped running. Panting, they watched the wagon train vanish over the horizon. Jack took a deep breath. "What now?" he said, Annie. They looked around. All Jack could see was a distant grove of trees with the tree house. With the train and the wagon gone, there was no signs of life anywhere. No pioneer cabins, no Native American teepees. "How can we find the special writing?" said Jack. "There's nothing out here." "Oh, yeah?" said Annie. "What's that?" She pointed to a rusty pipe sticking out from the small hill. Streaming from the pipe was a column of black smoke. "Oh, man," said Jack. "That's definitely a sign of life." And I'm going to stop because it's chapter 3, and each day I'm going to try to make a video on 3 chapters of this book, and then when we get done with it, we'll write a summary together, and it'll be so much fun. So I'm just going to take a postcard, and I'm going to write YouTube storybook with an exclamation point colored in. Wait, we gotta make this thing colorful. If we don't make this thing colorful, then it's gonna look ugly. Oh my God, this pencil does not work. Here we go. Oh, I hate that sound. Hurry, get that sound atrocious away from me. Making this bookmark so beautiful. 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 Look how beautiful my bookmark is. It's got stars and it's got hearts on it. And it's got a cloud. What else can I draw on it? That's broken. Ooh, I know what I'll draw. I'll draw a rose. How do you draw? Oh, yeah, I know. I was trying to think how you draw a rose for a minute, and then I remembered. It's super easy. Just draw a pretty rose. Now we gotta have some green so we can make the stem. The stems are supposed to be green. Jeez. That didn't break. Okay, good. There. So, there's a prettier green right here, and it was sharpened. I hate when that happens. There. You got it pretty. It's so pretty now. So pretty. I'm going to draw a tree. I'm going to draw a tree, too. Pretty tree. Green leaves. There we go. Look how pretty. Oh my God, you scared me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God, bye.